Hi everyone, George Farmer here, content creator for Tropica Aquarium Plants and your host this evening for Tropica Live. This is our 6th edition. So super excited, we've got a great edition ahead. We're going to scape this Fluval Spec 60 litre specifically for a Betta fish using a low energy aquascape. So let's introduce our special guest this evening, Rachel Ellis, all the way from the UK. Come on over.
Hello, hello.
Come over here.
I'm sorry.
There we go. Nice.
Hiya, George.
Hiya, thank you so much for coming. It's really great to see you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got into the hobby right at the beginning.
Yeah, okay, so it was about 2 years ago now that I kind of got into it, and kind of a little bit of backstory is I'm massively into animals and I keep reptiles and amphibians, you know, snakes, lizards, tortoises and things like that, and I like to build them, you know, enclosures that kind of mimic the natural habitat a little bit or as close as possible, just because I think that's kind of better for them, gives them a chance to exhibit more natural behaviour and things like that. Yeah. So I had some tree frogs that I wanted to build a terrarium for, like a bioactive style. So going down the YouTube black hole, watching videos and like getting information on that, and an aquascaping video popped up. And
so you originally getting terrariums, and then by accident you discovered aquascaping? Yeah,
it was a complete happy accident.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So obviously I watched these videos, yours being, you know, quite a lot of, one of them. Cool. And it was just, you know, the way that the kind of aquascapers on there like spoke about it, it's you know, passionate and inspiring, and it was infectious, and I just kind of really wanted to have a go at it, and it made sense because I guess terrariums, paludariums, things that I was already building, aquascaping's kind of not too far from that. No,
it's so closely linked to that nature vibe, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome.
And then from
was this at the beginning of lockdown then, 2 years ago or so?
Yeah.
So you're a lockdown scaper?
I'm a lockdown
There's a few of you guys out there.
This is awesome.
And just a quick summary of what to expect. It's going to last an hour or so. We're going to aquascape a beautiful aquascape with Rachel for a Betta tank. Yeah. Let's introduce the system. You know what this is?
Fluval Spec.
A Fluval Spec 60 litre. Yeah. Comes complete with a built-in filter. It does need an additional heater, I think.
For a Betta fish,
and I don't think the kit comes with a heater, so you will need to buy a heater. What sort of temperature are we talking for Bettas? 27, 28 kind of
quite
area. Warmer. It's on the warmer side, isn't it?
Yeah, so a heater is definitely a must-have.
Recommended. Yeah. And we turn the circulation right down on the filter as well, don't we?
Yeah.
And we'll talk more in detail about that. Why we need to do that later, maybe. Yeah. But it comes complete with the filter, all the media that you need. It does come with a light integrated into the hood here, but we've had that just removed today, so we can use this. Woohoo! We're just using this spotlight at the moment here, so we've got easy access for the aquascaping. So it measures about 45 centimetres by about 35 by about 28 or so, I'd say. Holds 60 litres. An ideal beginner setup, would you say?
Yeah,
it's got everything you need
in it. Yeah.
Apart from the heater.
Yeah.
Good size for a Betta, 60 litres.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's a beautiful layout. It's classic nature aquarium, isn't it? You've got use of red plants here. Yeah. Is that okay to use red plants with no CO2 as long as you've got enough light, I guess?
I think with the
Ludwig, easy, isn't it?
So you will get some good results, I think.
Yeah. We'll talk more about the plants in more detail, but classic nature aquarium style, would you call that?
Yeah, definitely inspired by.
Use of nice hardscape. You've got the cosmetic sand foreground with smaller stones, Sirius stone kind of effect. There's a border, and then some beautiful driftwood. Yeah. So we'll try to replicate that relatively
as close as possible, yeah.
Okay, should we start scaping?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do that. So we have chosen our hardscape already. Yeah. We're on a time limit, so we do need to work quite quickly. I'll go and grab that now. Yeah.
We did pre-glue something, didn't we?
We did.
Just to...
Yeah, do you want to talk through what we did?
So it's just some cotton and some cyanoacrylate.
Super glue.
Yeah. And just kind of wedge that in the contact points and just add the glue, and it just kind of forms like a rock solid bond just to prevent floating.
So you can see this white stuff here. Yeah, it's basically a mixture of cotton fibre, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the super glue mixed together, and it forms like a really strong, rock solid adhesive,
Yeah.
like a concrete almost. It's like a cement, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good when you get it on your fingers.
As George did
as
today.
well, yeah.
He's lost his fingerprints.
Yeah, like a bit master criminal. So that's glued on there securely. I think that looks great already, Rachel.
Yeah, that was the plan.
And then we do have another piece of wood here.
Yeah.
And
should we add that now, or once we've put the?
Do you think put the
rocks in, because it kind of comes over the rock?
It does, didn't it? Yeah. So let's do rocks next.
Yeah.
So the idea here is that we've put the hardscape in first, because we are limited, with the size of the aquarium. It's not a huge aquarium, and then we can actually put the soil and the sand in afterwards. And we actually need to use less substrate that way, because of course the hardscape is actually taking some physical space up around the base of the aquarium. So you're actually saving on product as well. So here we're using beautiful driftwood and a combination of the Frodo stones here. And we do actually have another type of rock here, that's Sirius stone, but it does actually look very similar to this piece of Frodo stone, so that's okay. So when we're choosing our hardscape, we want to make sure we have plenty of it. It's going to form quite a kind of nice design, high impact look in the aquascape. And we can use compositional guidelines like the rule of thirds. So for instance, this rock here is about a third of the way along. This is the main rock, so that's like a main focal point. And then this sticky up bit here, this is like a focal point, and this is about a third of the way along from the right. Yeah. So this creates a nice aesthetic balance. And is there any kind of particular points we need to consider for the Betta fish, Rachel, in terms of the hardscape?
Yeah, just making sure that there's no like really sharp edges on the wood or the stones. Obviously with Betta fish, they've got some of them have quite extravagant finnage, which is quite delicate, so you don't want them to rip that on any kind of sharp points. Okay.
And that finnage as well, does that cause other things to consider?
Yeah, obviously with the flow, if it's got like long fins, you don't want a fast kind of filter flow, because they kind of get blasted around the tank a little bit and they don't really like it. And the fins can be quite heavy for them, so it's
What does that mean then, with the fins are heavy? Does that mean that they kind of have to have a rest, do they?
Yeah, so making sure that there's lots of plants, or broadleaf plants, or just places for them to just lay down and have a little chill.
Because I have seen some really cool Instagram reels of where the Bettas are lying down, and they're really interesting to watch, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They've got great little personalities of Bettas, and that's kind of why I've fallen in love with them.
Is that? Yeah, I was going to ask you. Is that the?
Yeah. Well, I've got 4, and they're all different. They're all got their own personalities. One's more, a little bit more aggressive and feisty. One's a little bit shyer.
I have read that Bettas really enjoy plants, aquarium plants. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. They seem to interact with them. Obviously, use them to rest on, and not only that, aquarium plants are obviously beneficial for water parameters and the water quality, which in turn is going to be good for the fish.
Yeah, because they produce oxygen.
Yeah.
Help security and shelter for the fish.
Yeah.
Can you keep shrimp with Bettas?
Some yes, some no.
Oh, it depends on the shrimp or the Betta, or both?
Probably depends on the Betta. I have one that I can and one that I definitely can't. So that just goes to show personalities again, completely different. So
Rachel's adding the soil now. This is soil powder. It's actually the same type as the normal soil. It provides nutrients for the plant roots. It helps to lower the pH and the hardness of the aquarium water as well. And it actually provides a really good home for beneficial bacteria. So it actually aids filtration, provides a great home for the plant roots. It's very easy to plant into. It's actually quite a light product. So it doesn't compact like sand or gravel can. It will leach ammonia in the first few weeks or so. So you need to monitor this ideally, especially before adding any livestock. The ammonia is okay though, especially in a new system, because the filter will happily use that to start seeding itself with beneficial bacteria. So to kind of combat that ammonia, we need to do large, frequent water changes. And this is also going to help fight the battle against algae, which is really common in new setups. Have you had any issues with algae over in your time?
Yeah. The first tank I ever set up, got every single type of algae you can probably imagine.
That's probably a good thing though, because it kind of gave you a bit of a steep learning curve.
Yeah, it sets you up for, if you can tackle it there, any problem down the line isn't really a problem.
Yeah.
But it can obviously be disheartening.
How did you deal with the algae?
Obviously water changes is a big one, just manual removal. I didn't, this is obviously just me not having the knowledge at the time, but wasn't putting fertiliser in my aquarium thinking, oh, this is going to give me algae problems, and actually what it was doing was sort of starving the plants.
So Rachel is now just inserting these portions of Bucophalandra now in between the hardscape, so where the wood and the rocks are touching each other or not touching each other, there's gaps, and we can actually wedge those plants in there. And these are called epiphyte plants, so these are plants that grow particularly well attached to decor. Beautiful epiphyte plant, comes from Borneo originally, and it's actually under a little bit of threat because the jungles in Borneo are being decimated for palm oil production. So it's really important that we source our Bucophalandra from reputable sources. So people like Tropica, of course, who grow them sustainably either in our laboratories or in our greenhouses. Anubias, exactly the same principle as the Bucophalandra in terms of it being an epiphyte, so it needs to be attached to the wood or the rocks. Now we can use super glue, we can use cotton thread or cable ties or whatever method you like, as long as it attaches, but the easiest method that we do here is simply wedging it in. So here we have one of the smaller crypts that are available from Tropica, Cryptocorini X Willisii. The only crypt, the two crypts I believe are smaller than this that we do are the Cryptocorini albida brown, Cryptocorini parva, which is the smallest. But this actually doesn't look so much different actually when it adapts to underwater. So the interesting thing about the plants that we're growing here at Tropica is that the ones that are grown in pots like this, these are all grown hydroponically in our greenhouses. So that means basically they're growing with their feet wet. So these roots are exposed to circulating nutrient-rich water. And the plants here are actually growing out of the water in the air. And that means they have plenty of access to CO2 and light, of course. And it makes them really robust for travelling. So really great for transportation. And interestingly, crypts do have a habit of melting really easily. If that does happen, do not worry. All it's happening is the plant is adapting to its new conditions. What will happen is it will, if you are keeping it in good conditions, it will adapt and then grow new leaves, no problem. So don't worry if you get a sudden case of crypt melt. It should grow back, no problem.
Some people just cut the stems off the top before they even plant it, don't they?
That is very true, yeah.
It's not as instant impacty, but...
Yeah, so like this.
Yeah.
That's what happened, that's what they do.
That is what they do.
This is what Yuri's does, you know Yuri's?
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Oh, it looks sad, but it's good.
All of the power, all of the fuel, all of the energy that's required to generate new leaves is in there.
Yeah.
It's really cool, isn't it? Yeah. So that, I can plant that now and that will grow new leaves in a week or so. We want to see new growth. And that's what a lot of the pro-scapers do. They just trim off those leaves right away because they know that it's not going to go through that melting phase. Let's talk about another plant.
Okay.
I love talking about plants, Rachel.
I like this plant.
Do you?
Starogynea repens.
What can you tell us about this plant?
That I like it.
You like it? Is it easy?
I find it easy.
It is. It's an easy category.
Well, yeah, that would also be why. But there are some people who may struggle.
So Starogynea up against the front there?
Yeah,
perfect.
A foreground plant.
So Starogynea is a stem plant, but it stays quite low and it responds really well to trimming. Have you done that before?
Yeah, and it kind of just like bushes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It creates new side shoots and you can promote that really compact bushiness.
Yeah.
Should we start a Starogynea fan club?
Yeah.
Sounds like you want to be in the club as well.
Yeah, I'll be a member, a founding member.
You know, I started a Hygrophila siamensis 53B Appreciation Society.
How many members?
87.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know why I wasn't expecting that number. What? But it's a nice plant. I get why.
I'm disappointed with 87.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll join. It's 88.
Hey. They even have T-shirts printed out.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favourite crypts?
Willisii, what we're using.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, quite like it. I like is it Albedo Brown?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I really like that one.
That's medium category.
Yeah, that's why we've not picked it for this.
Wouldn't be suitable for this one, unfortunately.
No.
But the Albedo Brown, we've used that in quite a few scapes recently.
Yeah.
Do make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, guys. We're going to be releasing a lot more great video content soon regarding the Interzoo tanks. So we created 10 aquascapes for Interzoo 2022. We had some guest aquascapers over. We had Dave from Aquarium Gardens. Yeah. We had Tommy, you know Tommy from Green Aqua.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
You're a bit of a fan of Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah Casper and myself.
Yeah.
How many tanks do you have at home, Rachel?
7.
7?
Yeah, but 6 are all like low energy, like Betta tanks. Well, 4 of them are Betta tanks.
Right.
And I've got 1 that's high energy.
Okay.
But I started with all low energy tanks, and I still enjoy that, which is why I've got 6 of them.
Yeah. And are they all? Are you kind of rescaping them, or do you scape them once and let them evolve over the time?
So I have rescaped a few of them before they've even really had a chance to evolve, just because I've decided that I didn't like it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And that's the thing, obviously, with aquascapes, they do evolve over time. That's kind of why I like it a lot as well, because it's, you know, you make changes, or you do something, and it's like, well, what's this going to look like 2 weeks from now, or 2 months from now, or 4 months from now? And it's that constantly changing thing that I like seeing if my work's paid off, or if it hasn't, is there a lesson there to be learned?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do rotate them a little bit, not loads, because I kind of don't want to stress the fish out and constantly just. Yeah. Because that's obviously like that's important for me, is like the welfare of the fish.
Yeah, you come very much from a welfare perspective as like a pet keeper.
Yeah.
To start, that's your sort of primary.
Yeah.
Rachel, we have a question from the audience. What inspired the plant choice?
A lot of them are plants that I've used in my tanks already, and also because they are easy, and this was designed to be, an easy setup that hopefully anyone can
replicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you planting Ludwigia? Yeah.
And another question for you, Rachel. What good plants are for shrimps?
What good plants for shrimp? Well, I like to put a lot of moss in with shrimp.
Yes, I agree. Loads of surface area.
Yeah, it collects like all the biofilm and bits that they kind of nibble on, and it's kind of a good place for babies to hide out in as well.
Yeah.
I would say moss, definitely.
Cool.
I don't know if shrimp are all that picky with plants.
No, there's no plants that I wouldn't keep.
Yeah.
It's more like what are the best plants for them. So yeah, mosses I would suggest as well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about this beautiful red plant here. This is one of your faves, isn't it?
It is now, yeah.
This is Ludwigia. I'm going to put this green plant away because I want to confuse people. This is Ludwigia palustris super red, and it's really easy. It can maintain a red colour even without CO2 injection if you've got enough light, but it just grows like a weed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it needs trimming regularly.
Wild and
it's quite wild, but it's a really good, solid performer.
Mm. When it goes red, it is a really nice plant, I think.
You could argue it goes super red.
You could argue that, yeah.
Laziness.
But I won't.
We have got some more questions for you. I'm just going to fire them at you. Is that okay?
Yep.
You carry on as well doing that.
Okay.
What's the best plant for a Betta hammock?
A Betta hammock? Yeah. I know some people just use a big,
big leaf.
A big leaf, like an Indian, is it Indian almond leaf?
Catappa leaf, yeah.
And you can suction it to the side of your tank, or even just on the floor. They'll tend to lay on them because they're quite good for Bettas anyway, because they release like a tannin Essentially, you know, it's.
I've heard anecdotal reports that they contribute to antifungal and antibacterial qualities.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
I have, yeah.
I don't know if there's any scientific literature out there to provide data on
Back that up.
But it's pretty cool. And you know, there's so much anecdotal evidence that these things are having a therapeutic value. I think you know, can't ignore it, can you?
No, I think generally they prefer like a soft acidic water, and obviously it adds that acidity to the water.
Now I know that looks ridiculous right now. That is going to stop it from floating.
Oh.
Oh! Okay, I had the valve the wrong way, no problem. Nothing to see
I
here.
think also the. I don't know if that's going to need to sit on that. Do you want me to grab anything?
Oh, did that fall off? The stone?
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay, thank you everyone. First of all, thank you Rachel. I've had such a blast working with you the last couple of days. It's been amazing.
It's been fun. And
again, thanks to the immediate team here and Jonas, but thank you to the entire Tropica team for making this possible.
Yeah.
Thank you to Foreground for supplying the beautiful aquarium, great system for betters. Thank you to all of the audience that are watching. Really grateful to all of you. Thank you to all the Instagram followers as well, of course. If you do want to have a chance of your content being featured on our social media, use the hashtag, and you've been inspired by this, use the hashtag Tropica Live, hashtag Made with Tropica and Tropica Aquarium Plants. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have enjoyed this video, I hope you have, please hit the thumbs up. Share, you can still share this video and it's available to watch, replay at any time. So if there's anyone in your family, any of your friends that you might feel like might benefit from learning a little bit about this beautiful hobby, then please consider sharing it with those guys as well. Okay, I'm going to say cheerio now.
I'm going to copy you and say cheerio as well.
Take care, we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.